Terrific. Thank you for being here, Donna. This was incredible to see on the big screen for me. And I'm very excited to hear about people's thoughts or questions, but I have a few to begin. My first, I think maybe on everyone's mind perhaps is the possibility for this to have been made is, it seems like you've had to dig through an enormous archive. You had to make a lot of choices. What was the tipping point or the final moment for you when you realized that a documentary film could be made from the footage that you had started making in your friendship?
I'm feeling, I'm so excited to be here. I'm very, very grateful with you, with the whole team. Thank you for make this special screening. It's very important for us, for Mickey and me and my crew. Uh, I, well, this film, after 10 years, we made it. Like, it was when I met Mickey, she was 11 years old. We are from the same from the same city, Mazatlan, which is at northwest of Mexico. It is very conservative, and we went to the same Catholic school together. She was 11 years old, and I was 13, and she she was making videos in her YouTube channel, and she was just a kid, like doing makeup tutorials, and for me was very important to see how the priest was scandalizing just for a kid being herself, and and years later we moved together in Mexico City, and we started to record through webcams videos, and just like dreaming about our past. Like, it was like so important to us to to create new ways of storytellings for us, like to have the camera and confront the priest in the school, the director in the school, and also the father was so important to us that it's not like in a punitive way. It's more like a just for fun, like friends. Like, that's something that really happened to us as a trans persons. Like, I also came out of the closet as a trans in these 10 years, because like the community really saves you, really helps you, and really helps you to find yourself in these very like difficult times. So yeah, like we were just imagine the avatar, the like if we are living in a video game, we're gonna make the rules.
I mean, you certainly constructed a reality within this documentary that is unlike any other visual elements that I've seen. I think you've touched on this, that trans people making work about trans people allows us to see a narrative perhaps that is not one that it only shows devastation. And there's something particularly important about the moments of vulnerability that were accessed while laughing and having a really wonderful time. And actually, it struck me that there's really only one moment where we see Mickey in distress or even remotely upset on screen, and it's with the phone call as a a backdrop, and it isn't a breaking down, but it is a coming to terms with what is needed, and something beyond acceptance. That's so powerful, especially where in a time where people are being persecuted so often. And yeah, I'm wondering about the expectations, I think, that are brought up quite a bit in this documentary for children, and what it meant to bring childhood into the conversation that constructs a person now, and to not cut off the past, but to integrate that.
Yeah, Mickey is so brave, because I mean, for me, it's so hard to listen her parents talking just in like he, like
Jarring.
uh-huh. And for her, it is important to see the evolution and to see all the changes that also um, people often think that being trans is just one way, like like it's just you came out of the closet, you take hormones, and that's all. And no, it's you're mm, transcend all the ways that you're formed, your imagination, that's why I think this film is more like trans cinema, because it's also in its form, not in the theme. It's not about being trans. It's about the memory as a fluid process, and also this reconciliation, this healing process with her dad, and also through performance. That was so important to us, like um, create this world in a non-punitive way.
And not coming to, or asking people to come to task in some way, or to beg for forgiveness, which was not happening at all, actually. I'm so curious about the reenactment moments, but also want to mention that watching behind the scenes footage in many spots where you're watching an edit, or you're entering into a moment of an interview from outside of a screen, so that the audience processes the time that has happened already, that you are revisiting footage, is really exciting. But maybe I'll first ask about reenactment specifically, and when you decided to include that.
Well, when Mickey wrote her diary, and we were just reading her diary at the same time that I was showing her videos to her dad and her mother. So I record that moment on webcams, and that's when we realize about to create this reenactment. And I just asked her that about how was the scene of the drops, like why he why he did why, and he was like, like he didn't get conscious about it. He was just telling like, oh yes, I did the drop thing, it was testosterone. And I asked him if he wants to act that moment, and he said yes. And I also asked him about the color of the scene, and he said blue. And I said, well, the drops are pink. And we were just playing, but at the same time, he realized on set that what was happening. And also Mickey confront him, because Mickey didn't know that her father was doing those things.
She found out on set with you, or had found out after that was
After,
happening. Yeah, interesting. Um, her father's willingness to wear burn makeup and that part of the reenactment. Would you mind talking about that a little bit too? I'm very interested in the idea of someone wanting to revisit something that has such a contradictory or like a sort of fractured part of memory, and I'm very curious.
yeah, because camera is also a mirror. Something that you don't want to see, you can see it on big screen. And it's a mirror in all ways. We use this obsidian mirror at the beginning of the film, uh, on the sea. And the obsidian mirror is, I mean, for the indigenous community of Mexico, it's like a mirror to go inside. It confronts the shadows. So it's about to embrace your shadows, and in a way we made this film about that, like confront our shadows, like revisit the past and have fun in that process.
I have one last question, and it's about, I have so many questions and I'll have to ask them later, but the choice about the cave and projecting in it. Maybe I'm asking lots of questions about like how you formed your edit, I guess, but where and when did these abstract moments where you are very present actually, when did you decide to bring yourself to that part of the documentary?
Well, Mickey asked me if I can use my poems. Like, she read the poem and she said, "You need to talk about it. You need to tell about your desires." And that's, yeah. At the end, we realized that it's a film that um, about this relationship and about to create community, and how, you know the community can hold you in these difficult times.
I'm going to ask if anyone in the audience has questions or comments. Give it a little click, perhaps. Yeah.
Hello? Yeah. Hi, thank you so much for your film. Actually, just continuing where we were, the cave scene was so moving for me. That kind of layering of her body, your words, and these presences from the past that were also writing themselves into the memory of the land and the rock. And it strikes me that what you just also said about shadows was so beautiful, because I don't think I've experienced a work where the kind of shadows are so colorful and so vibrant, like that interior world that's protected and kind of held in darkness is also just like a psychedelic, beautiful bouquet of I don't know, energy. So I don't know, I kind of just want to continue and maybe ask about the cave again. How did you end up there? And it's such a small piece of the duration of the film, but it also kind of explodes the film into this much longer duration of people writing themselves, people drawing themselves. So I don't know, maybe just to follow up, like, how did you end up at the cave? Was that, whose idea was that? And does the work also open up into like installation or performance beyond the single channel cinema?
Well, I was talking with my friends about caves and about cinema, like cinema shows you like a mirror or like a window of this world, and also it's just a perception of the things. And I knew about this cave in Tepoztlan, Morelos, and also the whole work with shadows is also inside of the caves. So for me, it was kind of intuitive way of create this film. Mm, and and also Mickey helped me a lot to confront all these shadows, like for my childhood and also her childhood. So it was uh, this film was very personal and very intimate, and also with so much support of great artists like Marta Maya, who made all this installation inside of the cave. And and yeah, it's also like being trans in a way is like a glitch in the system because it breaks the reality and change the rules and what it's supposed to be the role in this simulation. And 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 that's why we were like playing at the same time that it was very living process, uh, um, like the video game and the avatar when she's painting herself, and this avatar is going to all this archive material and this memory like a river. And also I edit the film on the iPhone in CapCut. It's the app. So after 10 years, it was more easy to edit in the phone.
Hey, many thanks. Really, really gorgeous film. I kept thinking while watching the film. I mean, in yesterday Mars's performance, she mentioned something like this cyclical time, and I definitely see how some really like unfortunate things keep coming to Mickey. People referring to her or as him, or likewise like really offensive kind of things coming from other people. So I was wondering how was the process of editing. How, of course, we know that there's a story, but also like it's not like the kind of linear kind of story in which she starts at one point and finishing one another, but instead is like like it's going circles or like in a spiral that is not ending once the movie is finished.
Yeah, the I mean, we made so many rough cuts. Like first, she gave me her archive material, so I made a short film, and I showed her the short film, and I recorded with my computer, and we were just talking about how we imagine the film. So this, after 10 years, we made like the whole evolution about the process. And so we took those decisions about um, like the memory in non a linear way, like non-linear, like more like water. So for me, it was very important to make it playful, and like mm, even even it was hard because of like there were times that it was very hard like with all these 10 years or more of archive material. But at the same time, we were just playing with the errors, with, like the errors of the film, like the images that we don't want to see, or all these images that we create on security camera that is not just no, it's like rubbish because it's a security camera recording all the time, and we were like just playing like what happened when we talking about the you buying shoes with the security camera. And but it was very playful. It was very also with so much joy with Mickey and Donatiu, my editor, who was at the end of the process. So yes, I made like a lot of we made rough cuts, like I don't know, like 39, 41 rough cuts, and at the end we just ended editing on the phone. Yeah.
Other questions?
Hi, Dana. Thanks again for sharing this beautiful piece. I was so touched by the react moment when the father finished acting and you say cut, but the camera still keep rolling and he kind of have like embarrassed or like awkward facial expression on his face and start talking with his daughter, Mickey, and Mickey is like, "Father, you did something like totally opposite. You put the job that make me become a girl or something like that." That piece is so touching for me, and I was wondering, how did you decide to continue to roll the camera while the acting is already end?
I think it was very intuitive. Like we was very weird moment also. Like he was doing the reenactment, but also he was practicing like so many times, and it was so weird. I think it was awkward for us too, but at the end was like, okay, it doesn't matter. And he was like, oh, I didn't know. I just want your, I don't, I just want you to be safe. And she was like, okay, whatever. But this is estrogen, not testosterone. And that was something very magical. I think Mickey knew that we were making this experimental film, and so the language, we were discovering the language together, and that's why when we were making those scenes, it was easy for us, like okay, we need to wait a little bit more, but it was something intuitive and very playful. Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the beautiful film. I get the impression that that the core goal for you all was really personal and yeah, about your relationships with yourselves and your past. But there is, with all of this, with Mickey's parents, and just curious if the process of them being engaged in the film, if they've seen it, and if that I did want her to get that wish of getting beyond the acceptance. And I'm just curious if the film itself kind of helped with that.
Her mother watched the film, And she was like, yeah, like we need to show it to the world. And I was like, very like, oh my God, what is going to happen with her dad? And she was like, doesn't matter, show the film. we need to show it. And it was so like very important for us. I mean, like, okay, if something that we need to talk, I mean, in Mazatlan, that is very conservative, because there are also many children in that school that also they're trans, and if we don't break the cycle, it's going to repeat again and again. So make films is a great opportunity to to change things.
I will just add that there's something incredible, and I started touching on this earlier about, and I think this is what I meant in my introduction, that to know that things are going to be okay in advance, even when reflecting on things that have been actually very scary or difficult, or times when you've forgotten how scary things were but are reminded, and that they still are scary, but also so beautiful and wonderful, and an incredibly perfect ending scene, just to be part of a pageant world and to be playing and having fun. I hadn't noticed, I think, in prior watchings, the men who are watching her on the float and talking about her and how little she, I mean, could give a fuck, does not care because she's having so much fun. And that's really interacting with her father is no longer, it seems here, something that could ever have elicited such a major response, because she just simply does not care. And it's wonderful to see her feel so free.
Yeah. Freedom is contagious.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Any other questions? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll see you back here hopefully at 8 p.m. for our Artist in Focus presentation, short films with Donna Carolina. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.